Hey everybody, welcome to another NFL preview episode of Phil on the Mic. As always, I'm Darren Michael, and with me, the man back from the unbelievably great UNC Appalachian State game where they scored 62 points in the fourth quarter, Mr. Phil Kelley. Phil, what was that like, man, being at that game where they scored 62 points in the fourth quarter? I mean, that's absurd.
Yeah, I mean, that was a surreal moment for me. So real, so real. Not surreal, so real. Yeah.
I mean, who would have thought UNC's up 41-21 going into the fourth, and they eke out a victory 63-61 over a
Who would have
powerful Division I Appalachian State.
who would have thought I have nothing going on and would want to watch that? Who would have thought?
So what's going on, my man? Did you enjoy week one of college football?
I mean, I'm a Notre Dame fan, so I did for the first half of the game and faded into oblivion a little bit. But no, it was I didn't really, I gotta say, I didn't catch as much as I wanted to. I caught a little of the Florida-Utah game. I thought it went as I thought. It was a good game. Georgia destroyed Oregon like I thought. There wasn't a ton of great games, but yeah, I'm more. I thought there was some good stuff. It's great to have college football back. You know, I'm a big college football fan.
Let me be the first one to congratulate you on your picks.
Yeah, I know. Starting off again, hot. I mean, hot as a pistol.
I like the Phil's big three where you've got the best bet and then the two big games, the two best games of the week, man. That is exciting. And I'll tell you, man, I put $1,000 on each game, man. So I'm feeling really good right now.
Hey, if you could bet on two crickets, if you pick the right cricket, you're happy betting. So I picked three good crickets, you know. I actually it's rare when you pick three games in anything. It's still rare, even with my acumen, my incredible picking and prognostication. It's still rare when you pick three games and win them all easy.
Yeah, it is true.
They were runaway covers. I mean, Notre Dame, it only got dicey late, but they were winning the game for three quarters. So plus 17.5, plus 16.5 felt real good. Georgia, I think, was winning by 16.5 after kickoff.
Yeah.
And Michigan, I don't know, won by 50 something. So
no, they I don't know what the final score was, like 51-7 or something. I mean, they just
comfortable W's for me.
I mean, should be a couple of the games went as you would have thought. You know, UGA winning 49-3 over the number 11 Oregon. I mean, that just shows you.
Throw that out the window.
That just shows you why are teams ranked. That's what I want to know, man. That just really bothers me.
It also shows you they're just guessing.
Oh,
I mean,
completely.
Oregon lost their stud edge rusher. They were, they lost a lot of stuff off of a 3-loss team, I believe. Why they have any business? But see, Vegas always checks it. Vegas always corrects it because Vegas goes, oh yeah, they're the 11th best team. Yeah, this 17.5 point underdogs. Like it always corrects the stupidity. Now Notre Dame looked much closer with Ohio State. Also had a very big spread. So Vegas is always right about their spreads, but. Yeah, I mean, a lot of these rankings they should just wait till October 1. Then you get a really good ranking, get a month under your belt. It'd be a much, much, much better way to do it.
You know, and case in point, I mean, you had Florida beating number 7 Utah, and now all of a sudden they've gone from unranked to number 12. You know, it's like
which if you just wait till October 1, you just have a better ranking system.
Exactly.
But Florida deserves. I mean, they deserve to move way up because it's week 1. That's a great win. So they should move way up.
It is a great win. But then again, is Utah overranked? Is Florida?
Well, so it's a good point. Here's the point I think best said. When you get early games where you decide, okay, Florida's better than we thought. Let's throw them up to 12 off this big win over Utah.
Yeah.
That win holds up much better if Utah is 3-1 at the end of the month.
Right.
If Utah is 2-3 or 2-2 or 1-3, then it's like, wait, why is Florida ranked? You know what I mean? Like they don't make the recorrection if they're like, oh crap, that big upset or that big win really isn't a big win. They never make the correction back the other way. And that's what you would get if you waited till 4 weeks in. You would get, okay, I think Florida's 12th, but let's see how Utah plays out. Let's see how Florida plays by October 1. Oh, you know what? They are 12th. They are 10th. They are whatever. That's what I would like to see, but it is what it is. I always think this is funny too. Notre Dame's super overrated and garbage. Ohio State's awesome. Ohio State wins pretty ugly. Nothing really special about the win.
Yeah, it was ugly.
And people are like, what was the common thing I heard? I mean, Ohio State, of course, like they're going to play for the championship. So wait a second. If Notre Dame stinks, that win meant nothing. If anything, it should detract from Ohio State. So it's like they got to win over the number 5 team in the country. Well, it's amazing. People like to use Notre Dame only if it helps them boost their case, but they trash them as like garbage, and then they use them as like, look, we got our big win over Notre Dame. You just told me they're trash.
You know what else I thought was interesting? No, I mean, Ohio State, they beat the number 5 team, whether you like it or not. They beat the number 5 team, and they dropped from 2 to 3.
Oh, they deserve that though.
But
they did because it was an ugly game.
It was an ugly game, but I mean,
Notre Dame is
a good team.
If I was saying what Notre Dame was, I said Notre Dame will be able to run the ball in Ohio State. I said they have to possess the clock. In the first half, they did enough of that.
Yeah.
Led 10-7 at half. And I said, there's no way Ohio State's going to put up huge numbers on Notre Dame.
Yeah.
Notre Dame has a good enough defense. That's not been Notre Dame's issue in these big games. Notre Dame's issue in these big games is not scoring enough. Alabama's juggernaut offense beat them 31-14 in the semifinal game. That Alabama team was scoring 50 and upper 50s on everyone. Notre Dame's defense is national championship level. Their offense has not gotten close, mainly because they never have a 5-star big quarterback. Now, Stetson Bennett bucks that trend for Georgia, but if you have 24 5-star players and one guy who's not, you can make that work. Notre Dame's never going to have 24 5-star players all around their 5'9" quarterback. So Notre Dame needs the 5-star quarterback. They haven't gotten it. So like I always answer to people when they're like, Notre Dame can't compete in these games. It's usually one position. Their quarterback isn't elite. And even if you look in the NFL, you find me the mediocre quarterback that wins. It's rare. It's too valuable of a position. You got to be great at the quarterback spot. Or Russell Wilson rookie year on the Seahawks, an all-star team around him. And for 1 year, he could kind of be coaxed along, for 1 year.
It helps.
That's the only way you're going to win. So
no, it makes sense. It makes sense. And then the last thing that I wanted to mention with college football is I feel bad for Florida State, man. They lost their stud defensive tackle, Mason Smith, who tore his ACL while celebrating.
But yes, that's sad for any player. But can you get a better loss from my former Brian Kelley led the old guy for Notre Dame?
Oh, how they what is it? They missed the extra point.
Well, I'll set the stage though in 1 minute or less. Florida State should have won the game going away. Somehow, after LSU muffs a punt with 2.5 minutes to go, Florida State's on LSU's 6-yard line, up a touchdown. Any score ends the game. They decide, a la Seahawks in the Super Bowl, not to quite throw the ball, but from the 2-yard line, 1st and goal, they pitch the ball, and the guy fumbles. LSU recovers at the 1. They go 99 yards in 1.5 minutes.
Wow.
Score a touchdown with no time left.
Yep.
Then miss the extra point or have it blocked.
Yeah. Unbelievable.
If you want to say college football is the best sport in the world, that's the last 4 minutes of that game makes it the best in the world.
Yeah, that's unbelievable. That's unbelievable. Poor Brian Kelley, but you know what? He's still
my family gonna be sad.
Guy's still making 8 figures, so I think he's gonna be all right.
He'll cry all the way to his 7 mansions.
So let me ask you this: do you want to make your big 3 pick now, or do you want to do it after we talk NFL?
Let's do NFL, and then I'll end with 3 NFL picks and 3 college picks.
Okay. All right. Sounds like a plan.
Because I can't, after being 60+%, I got to bring the 3 picks back in the NFL.
Man, it's
viewers. I owe it to my viewers. I mean, I never quite got the tips I thought I was going to get from Bob in Saddlebrook and Joe in LA, but whatever. All right, guys.
Well, it is time, man. I am so excited. Tonight is the first game of the new NFL season, which is going to be fantastic. The NFL ends up being a 12-month a year sport because every day we're just talking about something new, and it definitely is the most exciting sport, the most action nonstop. It's really great. So what we've done today is we've decided to break it up. You're going to take on the AFC, and I will take on the NFC for our preview, and then we'll make our picks from there. So why don't you kick us off with a little AFC East?
AFC East. It would be my honor to talk a little AFC East. So listen, the NFL season is super exciting. I always struggle with the AFC East. It's always like, it's weird in this post-Brady era to not automatically just say the Patriots. Like, still, it takes me a minute to realize they're no longer the team anymore in the AFC East.
I know, right?
Even though Josh Allen and the Bills have taken the mantle the last few years. So the original take on the AFC East, and I feel it was like this for a while, even by myself as a Jet fan, I know we're Jet fans, was like the AFC East is murder. Like, it's loaded. The Bills are a clear Super Bowl contender.
Yep.
The Patriots seemingly with Mr. Mac, what's his name?
Mac Jones.
Yeah,
Big Mac.
with Big Mac Jones, seem to take the mantle and like not really, after one sort of down year for Belichick, they kind of were right back to being pretty good. Yep. Obviously, with the Dolphins, they add the cheetah, as they like to call him, Tyreek Hill. And it's like with Waddle and him, and like, what kind of offense are we going to have, even though the quarterback likes to throw 3-yard outs and all he can do is throw the ball 4 yards. Most accurate 5'10" guy with no speed that everybody raves about, that I think is garbage. But then the Jets also, after a big draft, it's like, oh, they're not as bad as they had been. So the AFC looks really good, just in general. Like, there's no like necessarily really awful team. And then the Bills are a 13-14 win team. So it's like, wow, the AFC East is really good. I have a little bit of a different take. I think it's actually going to be the Bills at like 13 or 14 wins. Really, really strong.
Yep.
And I think you could have the Dolphins and Patriots 8 and 9.
Yeah.
I think that's what they're going to be. And I think the Jets are a little bit of a question mark to me in terms of like how long now Zach Wilson's out. Can Flacco manage the team for 3 or 4 weeks while he's gone? What that all looks like. But I actually think the Bills and Dolphins are like 8 and 9, and the Jets are like 7 and 10. I actually think that's what it turns out to be. So it's like 3 teams that don't really ever compete for a playoff spot, and the Bills who run away and hide and have the thing clinched by Halloween. Like, that's what I think of the AFC East. So that's my take on the AFC East. You want to go NFC East, and then we can flip back and forth?
Yeah. The NFC East. The NFC East, the way that I look at the NFC East, it's just not a good division. I mean, that's what I'm going to say about the NFC East. I mean, you've got, you've got the Cowboys, the Eagles, I can't call them the Commanders. They're the Redskins to me, and the New York Giants. All right, let's be honest. Okay. The Cowboys are going to win this thing without a problem. It's going to be just an absolute joke. You've got Dak, you've got Ezekiel, you've got CeeDee Lamb, you've got Micah Parsons, who, oh my God, is that guy good? He is just all world linebacker playing for them. They lose their top offensive tackle, Tyron Smith. And what do? They coax Jason Peters out of retirement to take his spot, which I thought was kind of interesting. But listen, these guys could go to sleep and win the division. I mean, it's going to be that easy. And then you've got, number 2, I'd say you probably got the Eagles, and people are really talking a lot of great things about Jalen Hurts. And I got to be honest, I just don't see it. I think that they only have the second best team in that league, in that division, because they're in there with the Skins and the Giants, who are just not good. I mean, anytime you've got a team where Carson Wentz is leading you, I mean, there's a reason that he's on his 3rd team in 3 years. He's no good. The guy just can't play. That's what it comes down to. I mean, you still have Terry McLaurin, who's obviously a great wide receiver, but I mean, you want Wentz throwing to him? Your number 1 pick, Dotson out of Penn State, is going to be a good player. But again, Wentz throwing to him, this team is going to go as far as Wentz takes them, and he's not going to take them very far because he doesn't take anybody very far. It's just the way it is. And the New York Giants, Daniel Jones, I mean, what are you doing? When are you going to get rid of this guy? This guy is not a good quarterback, but it just goes to show you the lack of starting quarterbacks in the NFL, that Daniel Jones still has a starting spot. They have Barkley, who hopefully is going to be 100% healthy this year. And they do have the easiest schedule this year in the NFL. So the question is, can Daniel Jones actually decide to play like an NFL quarterback this year? And my opinion is no, I don't think so. So again, I see the Cowboys running away with this thing, and Eagles, Skins, and Giants, all mediocre or below average. And I think that's the way it's going to shake out, plain and simple.
Got it. Like it. Love it. I actually think, I'll just throw this out there, I think the Eagles are dangerous this year. I'll just throw that out there.
Okay. I disagree. I
understand. All right. North, AFC North. 2-team race. Ravens, Bengals. Also a little bit weird to say. Normally it's Steelers. So
Yeah,
the
yeah.
NFL is in a little bit of a transition. I do think while it would be easy to say the Bengals are the winner of the division here, just because all the momentum around Burrow, they were just in the Super Bowl, what have you. I think that Lamar Jackson contract year, stability all around, good defense. Although they lost a couple of pieces on offense, I think they eke out the division here over the Bengals. But I'm talking about two teams that are probably 12-5. 12-5, 11-6. I think it's a nip and tuck race all the way. They both won't make the playoffs, obviously, but I'll give the Ravens a slight edge to win the division. Bengals second. I think both of them are dark horses to get to the Super Bowl, but the AFC is loaded. And I didn't really start there, but the AFC is just loaded, right? I talked about this last year. It's even worse this year with Russell Wilson moving into the AFC. I mean, all the best quarterbacks are in the AFC. With apologies or with, obviously a caveat to Aaron Rodgers. And I don't even want to put Dak Prescott quite on that level, but if you throw a Prescott in, I mean, Matthew Stafford is solid, but he's not a world beater. Kyler Murray's a little bit up and down. I mean, think about the horses in the AFC. I mean, the AFC's loaded. So Burrow and Lamar Jackson battle. I think the Steelers are in a transition. And I actually think the Steelers, I should know this, but we don't have a stat guy. The Steelers are going to finish last for the first time in I don't know how long. And I only say that because I think even with the Browns issue with Watson out for 11 games, I actually think their overall team is a little better than the Steelers. And the Steelers don't have much of a better quarterback. I don't know what their deal is. It's Mitch Trubisky. Is that who they're going with to start? I mean, that's scary. So I'll go Browns eke out the Steelers for third, and the Steelers finish last for the first time in a long time. And they won't be jet bad like normally, 3-14 or something. But I think they'll win 6 or 7 games, the Steelers, and it'll be the worst team in the division. So that's what I think the North will look like. What do you got in the NFC North?
Yeah, it sounds like it. When I look at the NFC North, again, man, I'm looking at, you said it. I mean, the teams are really in the AFC. The NFC is just, to me, it's a disappointing conference. It really is. You look at the NFC North, and just every year it seems like it's the Packers winning the NFC North. And I got to be honest with you, I see that happening again. And it's, it's funny because most teams I don't think could recover from losing a guy like Devontae Adams, who's just meant so much to your team. But when you've got Aaron Rodgers, I mean, think about what he did last year: 37 touchdowns, 4 interceptions. I mean, this guy is the most accurate quarterback in history. It's unbelievable what he does. He's getting paid $50 million for a reason. And just having Aaron Rodgers on your team means that you're going to win the division. So as long as he's healthy, the division is theirs, plain and simple. Especially when you're going up against the Vikings, the Lions, and the Bears. The Vikings, I'm a fan of Kirk Cousins. I really am. I think that he is a solid quarterback, a really solid quarterback. His problem is he can't win the big game, and he'll never, ever be able to win the big game. So the Vikings are going to be a tough team, I think, this year, because you've also got Jefferson, year 2, who is just an absolute animal. I mean, that guy, the numbers that he put up in his rookie season are just, I mean, nobody's ever done what he did last year. And the guy is just getting bigger, just getting better, just getting stronger. So he's going to have another monster year. So just those two guys hooking up is going to produce a lot of great results. But the Vikings will never win the big game, ever with Kirk Cousins. Until they get another quarterback, they're just never going to win the big game. Lions coming in number 3, Goff, DeAndre Swift. The thing I'm most excited about them is Aiden Hutchinson. This guy is just an absolute animal. And I look forward to seeing how he takes on the NFL offensive line and wreaks havoc in the backfield. But again, they're the Lions. I think they've got some talent. I think they're moving in the right direction, but they're nowhere near where they need to be. Mm-hmm. And then in the basement, you've got the Bears. They've got an exciting quarterback in Justin Fields, but we all know this is a rebuilding year for the Bears. So once you say it's a rebuilding year, to me, that is code for, we're going to suck, and we know we're going to suck, and here's our excuse ahead of time. So Justin Fields is going to be in a situation where he's going to be the one that has to win every game they're in. And the guy is, without a supporting cast, he's not going to be able to do it. They're not going to want him to run 20 times a game because he's going to end up losing his head. So plain and simple, Packers are going to win the NFC North pretty easily. They're going to end up with, like they normally do, 13, even 14 wins this year. Aaron Rodgers is probably going to win another MVP, and you're going to see these guys make a deep run into the playoffs.
All right. I'm going to go rapid fire in the AFC South because it's the worst possibly division in all 8 divisions. But I'm going to have a little wrinkle here. The Texans and Jaguars will fight to finish last, right? It'll be who sucks worse. I mean, I'll peg them both at 4 wins to be kind. I actually think the Colts with Matty Ice are going to be really good this year.
Yeah.
I think Matt Ryan's got one last. I think he needed to get out of Atlanta. I think he's got one hurrah in him, a la little Phillip Rivers action, or just like one more Brett Favre late in his career. I think Matt Ryan's going to be rejuvenated. They got a good offensive line. They got a big stud running back. And I think the Colts win the division. And I think the Titans obviously suffered a mega loss with their edge rusher the other day. Their stud edge rushers out for the year. I think they're in flux at quarterback. I think, you're going to stack the box against Henry. They lost AJ Brown. They drafted a receiver to try to replace him. I love Vrabel. I mean, I think the world of that coach. I think he gets maximum out of his teams every year. And I still peg him at like 10 wins, but I just think the Colts are more talented and they're going to take back the AFC South. And somewhere Peyton Manning on one of his commercials is smiling as the AFC South is back in the Colts corner. So I'll go Colts in the AFC South.
Well, we will definitely see it. I'm going into my favorite division. That's the NFC South. And I always pick the same team coming out of the NFC South, and that is the Bucs. When you look at Tom Brady, I just keep asking myself, when is this guy going to slow down? And when is it going to finally be his last year? I have a funny feeling this is it. This is the absolute last year. I think he's telling everybody in the locker room this is his last year. Think about what he did. He actually in his incredible 20-some year career, he had the most attempts and most yards last year in any season at age 44. Now he's 45. Basically, the entire team is back. And this is going to be a good team, but it's only going to be as good as Tom Brady is. I mean, Tom Brady missed a lot of time. Supposedly he's having some personal issues at home, and I love your imitation of his wife. So why don't you go ahead and just tell us really quickly what those conversations are like.
Tom, what the hell are you doing, Tom? You promised me I have freedom. You have taken freedom from me, Tom. And now I am with 3 pain in the ass kids again, Tom. You escape back to Bucks, and I am stuck in Florida. I would like to be in Costa Rica, Aruba, Santa Fe, Monte Antio, wherever I can get to. And I am stuck watching football. It's not even soccer.
Oh my God. Oh.
I don't know. He might have a bad year. I don't think I would have picked him this year.
You know what? So I don't know what's going to happen, but I think he's sitting there saying, you know what? I promise this is my last year if you just be good to me. Don't withhold what I need at home. And I think this is it. I think he's going to be amped up to play. I think he might come out a little rusty at first, but I think the Bucs are going to come out of a pretty weak division pretty easily. They might not have all the wins, but I think they're going to turn it on when they need to. Saints, you got Winston back. I guess that's exciting unless it's the 30-30 Winston. And I'm not talking about the home run steals 30-30. We're talking about the first man in history to have 30 touchdown passes and 30 interceptions in one season. So that's going to be interesting. But they do have Michael Thomas back. Chris Olave should be pretty good, and Alvin Kamara. So you got weapons around you. It just depends on, is this going to be the Winston that came out and played a few great games last year? Or is it going to be the Winston that's going to join the 30-30 club again? Falcons, baby. Falcons. I guess I have to cheer for them since I'm in Atlanta. I am actually a fan of Marcus Mariota. I always thought he was a decent player. Yep. And I think this guy is over the moon that he gets the chance to start. And if you look at what he's got around him, he's got all-world tight end Kyle Pitts, who I think this year is going to prove that he is the top tight end in football. You've got Cordell Patterson. You've got Drake London, a big wide receiver. I think that he's going to come out. I think he's going to have a good season. I think you're going to see the Atlanta Falcons a much, much better team than they've been in the past. So I'm really excited about that. I think they needed to get rid of Matt Ryan. I think it was a great split for both of them. They need to start from scratch. Ever since that Super Bowl, he and the Falcons, they just need to do something different. So I think that's a good move for them. And then the Panthers, why they're playing, I'm not really sure. You got, it was an unbelievable competition. I know you were there for it, and you helped them to decide on Baker Mayfield rather than Sam Darnold, which obviously was a good choice. And I think that was the choice all along. You've got McCaffrey, who is just such an unbelievable player. The guy cannot stay on the field. So my hope for the Panthers is that he does stay on the field. He can play 16 games, puts up just ridiculous stats so they can trade him. That's what they need to do. Trade him to somebody that's going to be like, oh, yeah, he's fantastic, because the guy's just going to get hurt again. He is just when you're, I don't care who you are, when they use you as much as they use him, you're going to get hit a lot. You're going to get hurt. It's just the way that it is. So anyway, Bucs are coming out of this thing. I think the Saints are going to be a decent team, but I think the Bucs are going to pretty easily run away with this division.
All right, I'm with you. I hear you. I don't. I think you might be right, but I don't like the Bucs this year. I think they got offensive line issues. I think Brady being that's dangerous for a slow-footed quarterback. So hopefully they protect him.
Yeah, we'll see.
Last division, clearly the best in the AFC, the West. I mean, you can literally, I don't know how often you can ever say this about a division, but you could pick any team to win this division and have a good case as to why that's possible. That's a rare situation, very rare. I don't know how often that ever happens. I mean, I'm going to throw a dart at the dartboard here because I really think all four teams could be really good. I'm going to obviously have 3 of them out of the 4 make the playoffs, but that's really all I can do because I'm really giving the Bengals one of the playoff spots because I think they'll just be beating up easier teams all year. So I'll go Chargers in the West. Justin Herbert is just the real deal. I mean, it's all good quarterbacks. Justin Herbert, Pat Mahomes, Russell Wilson now, and Carr, who you could say is, the lowest of the 4, but he's still pretty good. And they have a stud in Devontae Adams there with them. And that's a good team. I'm going to go Chargers. I'm going to go Chiefs and Broncos tie for second, both make the playoffs. And I left the Raiders out, but it's kind of like, it's hard. It's a tough division to choose from. I just think the Chargers have the most balance. And I think Justin Herbert is just got that. He's just a gamer. And I think Mahomes, who the bloom is a little off the Mahomes rose, if you think about it. Yeah. He was on his way to Canton as the greatest quarterback to ever play after 2 seasons. And while he's still one of the best quarterbacks, and he's one of the top 3 quarterbacks in the NFL, and he's clearly on his way to the Hall of Fame and all that, after he lost that Super Bowl to Brady, he did not back up last year nearly as good as the past couple of years.
It's true.
They go out again in the playoffs. And now all of a sudden, the unbeatable Pat Mahomes, I think he lost a little of his Superman. I think he lost a little bit of his, mojo. Of his mojo. Exactly.
Yeah.
So I'm going to give it to Herbert right now. I'm going to say he ascended above the team as a whole because, you take Tyreek Hill off. That's still a weapon that, while I don't know if the Dolphins will exploit because of Tua's lack of ability, it's certainly going to hurt Mahomes not having him. And in already a tough division, I'm going to go Chargers. My 7 playoff teams coming out of AFC real quick: Bills 1, Chargers 2, Ravens 3, Colts 4, Bengals 5, Chiefs 6, Broncos 7. That's insane to say the Chiefs and Broncos are 6 and 7.
Yeah.
But if the Chargers win the division, they're kind of the Bengals, Chiefs, and Broncos are 3 or 5, 6, and 7. So that's just insane. And I won't get into all the detail. I'll go Bills to come out of the AFC.
Okay. Fair enough. NFC West. The Rams, they had such a great season last year, Super Bowl champs. Everything went right for those guys. My concern is that Stafford is what I would refer to as a one and done, not your basketball one and done, but just a one and done. Like you have that incredible season, you lead your team to the Super Bowl win, but that's it. You don't have it ever again. You've kind of exhausted everything. So I don't know. And I know he had off-season surgery. So, this is a team that's pretty much intact. And so they're going to be dangerous. They're definitely going to be dangerous. Anytime you've got Kupp on offense, who is just, I don't even know how he puts up the numbers that he does. He's just a little guy. And then you've got Donald and Ramsey anchoring that defense. You're going to be great. So they are going to have another great season, and they're definitely the team that's going to come out of the West. 49ers, I have them as number 2, but to be honest with you, I don't know what happens. It's the beginning of the Trey Lance era. What's he going to be like? I mean, he played a little bit last year, but this is really his rookie season. And this is a guy that came out of, what was he, Division 5 school? So we don't know exactly what he's going to be like. We know he's got lots of talent, but what's he actually going to be like? And he's got weapons. He's got, Deebo Samuel, of course. He's got George Kittle. So he's got guys that he can throw to. He's got Bosa on defense, who's obviously a stud if he can stay on the field. So this is a team that could be great. They might be mediocre. You don't really know which way it's going to go. Cardinals, you give Murray the big money, and he's going to end up like he always does. He's going to start off the season hot, and then he's going to fizzle and just show us that he's really not worth the $45 million or whatever he's getting. And then Seattle. I mean, all I have to say about Seattle is Geno Smith. That's it. And I think the name Geno Smith is synonymous with bad team. So, again, if the NFL is so bad that you don't have enough starting quarterbacks that Geno Smith is your starting quarterback, yeah, you got a lot of problems. Nothing like replacing, I mean, I'm not going to say this is a Michael Jordan, Pete Myers situation, but you're replacing Russell Wilson with Geno Smith, who couldn't make it on an awful Jets team. I mean, I don't know about that.
So who do you got? Who's your 7 playoff teams? And
so my 7 playoff teams is Cowboys, Packers, Bucks, and Rams. And then I've got 49ers, Saints, and Vikings as the wild card guys. Listen, man, this is the Tom Brady farewell tour. And I think they're doing it again. I mean, me, man, 3rd year in a row, I got to go with the Bucks making it all the way. So I like the Bucks coming out of the NFC, and I like, as you do, the Bills coming out of the AFC. I think nothing is going to stop the Bills this year. I think they are just a juggernaut, and I'm thinking Super Bowl or bust for these guys. And I hate to say it, I think they ruined Tom Brady's his last season, and I think they win the Super Bowl this year.
Yeah, I mean, everybody, every year there's the sexy pick that it seems like everyone migrates to. This year, it's clearly the Bills. I mean, they've been beaten on the door the last few years.
They're just really,
everybody's picking the Bills. I mean, it's going to be, if you want to make some money or you want to be a little bit outside the box, you go against the Bills this year just because everybody's picking them. And the best case to pick against the Bills isn't really related to the Bills' ability. The best case to pick against the Bills is, I don't know if you could have a more murderous conference to come out of. I mean, every top quarterback's in the AFC. Any playoff game the Bills play will be a tough game.
It's true.
And everybody should keep in mind one thing when you think about the NFL season. They added the 7th team to the playoffs, but what that made happen is it really put a mega premium on being the 1 seed. Yeah. Now the 1 seed is the only team with a bye.
Yep.
So even if you're the 2nd best team in the conference, you're playing already. That's and right. So in the AFC in particular, you're talking about playing a really good team, probably, as the 2-7 matchup's going to be a team who could beat you.
Yep.
So I think the Bills do have the advantage because they will be the 1 seed and have the chance to sit for a week and watch it all unfold. And I think the NFC really is bad. I mean, I'm looking at your top 4. Don't get me wrong, like the Cowboys have a lot of issues though.
Listen, I'm not arguing with that.
Receiver issues. They have offensive line issues, and you
Yep.
have them as the 1 seed, and it's not even a bad pick because it's hard to sit there and say who's coming out.
Well, I don't have them. I don't have them. As
Well,
the
I mean,
one
you have them as a
seed.
division winner. I got you.
No, I just have them as a division winner. No, I mean, listen,
If you
they could
compare
lose
though,
their
like
way to
right
that
now,
division.
if you
Yeah.
look at the NFC, if you look at your 7 playoff teams,
Yeah.
and then look at my 7 AFC playoff teams, it's akin to like the AFC is the SEC, and the
Yeah.
NFC is like the AAC. Like it's not even a Big 5 conference.
Yeah.
Like it's so
I
down.
agree. I
It's
agree.
just really down. So
It's
all right. So you got Tampa win. You got Tampa losing to the Bills.
Yep.
And my Super Bowl is actually, I wanted to get away from it, but I'm going to pick the Bills to win it. I'm going to go Bills. Ready for this shocker?
Yeah.
Ready for this humdinger?
Yeah.
Because I think the NFC's trash. Bills over Eagles in the Super Bowl. Yep. Yep.
I don't know what to say, man. That's a bad call. It
Hey,
must
man.
be you must be under a lot of pressure because of where you live. I don't know.
I hate that. I'm not an Eagle fan. You know that. No,
Oh.
we'll see.
All right.
We'll see.
All right.
If there
Well,
was ever a year to go out of the box in a bad conference, I'm doing it this year.
Wow. I was
Let's
sure.
wait, but before you beat it up, let's revisit on October 1 what the Eagles record is. Let's see where they're at.
Listen, man, I was sure that you were going to pick the Panthers, so I'm pleasantly surprised.
Baker and Sam. What a tandem.
I mean, you spent a lot of time down there helping those guys, so I figured,
I hear you.
All right. So let's do it, man. Let's go back to my favorite part of the NFL season, and that is fill up your bank account. I can't remember how you did last year, but I know it was it 60% what you ended up with? You did fantastic.
I was at like 61% regular like 61%, I think 65% best bets, something like that. Or maybe I'm flipping the two, but it was 65 and 60-ish.
You were 60% in fill up your bank accounts, including 67% on your locks.
Let's go.
That's pretty sick. Dude, that's a lot of pressure, man, to exceed those expectations. Wow.
Yeah, that's a lot.
So let's hear it, man. Let's hear your 2 picks with the spread, and then let's hear your lock of the week. I'm ready.
You want me doing college football right now?
No, let's start with NFL. Let's keep it going with NFL.
We'll go back. Start with the NFL. All right. So I'm going off of ESPN spreads. I like to be honest with our viewers. I'm not just, it's whatever ESPN right now has. I just look right now, real time. We can go with it. So week one is tricky. If you're going to have a good year in the NFL with picks, what you don't want to do is in the first couple of weeks bury yourself by having a bad couple of weeks when you're trying to still figure out, shake things out a little bit. So I'm going to go with the game that I'm trying to go with some of the better teams or where I think there could be a little bit of a mismatch. First game, I'm going to go with a team on the road laying 7, but I'm going to go with the Colts. I'm going to go with the Colts laying 7 against the Texans. So it's just one of those games where I'm going to try not to overthink it too much. The Texans are bad. The Colts, I think, are going to be good. Yep. I'm a big believer in them as a whole. So I'm going to go there.
Okay.
The next game, I mean, you're talking about this game could be extremely tricky, but I'm going to try not to overthink it again. Week 1, I'm going to take the Titans laying 5.5 over the Giants. I don't love the Texans right now, and they have issues, but I don't like the Giants. So I'm going to go with the Titans at home, laying the 5.5. And then the last game I'm going to go with is, and this
pick of the week, baby. Pick of the lock. What is the lock of the week, my man?
Yeah. So I was between 2 games with the lock of the week. I'm going to end up going in a little bit of a weird direction here. Because I don't like picking division games as locks, but I don't like the Steelers this year. So I'm going to take the Bengals laying 6.5 as my lock. It's a lot of favorites. I'm taking a lot of favorites. I don't love doing that. But Joe Burrow gets off to a good start.
Yep.
Bengals are clearly going to have a little juice there just to try to put the Steelers in their rearview mirror right away, show them that there's a switch in town of who the better team is. And it could be that way for a little while with Burrow there. So I'm going to go Bengals as my best bet, laying 6.5. Titans laying 5.5. Colts laying 7. Week 1, I'm not like super like bet the house this week. More like bet maybe a car payment. I'm not as crazy about the games this week.
Listen, the first week is always tough. You really just don't know what to take. And my experience has always been, you know what, you kind of take the underdogs as much as you can in week 1. You just don't know what's going to happen. But listen, three
I'm going to take a different approach. We'll see how it goes. Yeah.
3 solid picks. So we'll see what happens. Now we move over to a little college. We've got your best bet and the 2 top games of the week.
Yeah.
And you've got this is I gotta be honest, man. When you come out of the gate 3-0, dude, you've got a target on your back, man. You've got all of the big time handicappers coming after you, man. So you better be careful, and you better make sure that you're making some good picks here.
Well, and I recognize this could be controversial off the bat because I have to decide what the 2 best games of the week are, which it then informs who I pick, how I look at picking. So the first game that jumps out at me as being one of the best games, half the country, 3/4 of the country is not even going to watch because it's going to come on so late. But I'm going to go Baylor BYU as one of the big games, right? It's the 9 team against the 21 team. Again, I know the rankings are the rankings, but BYU impressed me in that they went down to South Florida. I'm not saying South Florida University is that good, but when you got to travel as far as they did for a game, they had like 4 rain delays / thunder and lightning issues and whatever, and they smashed South Florida. I thought that was a good way to start. I love BYU this week. First of all, I love anytime a team who's ranked 9th is an underdog, because that makes me feel like Vegas knows something I don't know. But in this case,
what you say the spread was on this game?
BYU is actually favored by 3.
Wow.
And I think that's in part because BYU is pretty good. They were predicted to be a pretty good team this year.
Yeah.
Going all the way out there, that's always a tricky place to play. That's a tough spot. And I don't know how good Baylor really is this year. I think they might be overranked. They might be in Oregon, where they're just ranked high and they're kind of doing it on the last couple of years' reputation more than they have this stud team. So I'm gonna lay 3 with BYU, and I'm gonna take them to win outright. Obviously, cover the 3 points over Baylor.
Well, you know what? Let me just say one thing, and this is something that's really not fair. I mean, you've got the Baylor players in their hotel room trying to get some rest the day before or the night before the game. And all you've got these Mormons knocking on your door trying to sell you a Bible the whole time. I mean, it's just they're gonna be up all night just listening to the knocks on the door. That's the problem that I have.
Hey, leave BYU alone. All right, this is gonna be controversial.
Okay, all right.
But I'm gonna ignore Alabama, Texas, guys. I know it's a big game, because it's Alabama, Texas, the reputation, what have you. Texas isn't ranked. If I was picking the game, I would take Texas plus 20, just as a hunch, but I'm not picking the game. So I'm going to go to Kentucky, Florida as my second game. Again, 2 ranked teams. I'm kind of doing it maybe a silly way, but whatever. I think I like Kentucky this week. Florida just played a heck of a game. I just think this is a tricky spot for Florida. Now that goes in as like a 6-point favorite when this might have been a pick'em game a week ago. And now they're laying 6. So I'm going to take Kentucky just off the fact that, it's early in the season. I like getting the points here where you're just looking at a situation where it might be tough for them to get back right up after a brutally close, tough win, emotional game all week. Week 2, Florida might eke it out, but I think it's a close game.
Okay.
And then I'm going to make it up to everyone, because another really good game in terms of 2 ranked teams square off, and I'll make it my best bet.
Okay.
And it's going to be Tennessee at Pittsburgh. Okay. And Tennessee is laying 6 points. And here's what I have to say to America, to Peyton Manning, to T. Martin, who people forget is the last quarterback and only quarterback, I think, to win a title at Tennessee, because Peyton Manning did not win one. Tennessee is the most overrated team not named Texas. Every year they are overrated. And I don't know what Pittsburgh is. I can't swear I know. I know their quarterback with the small fingers, the small hands, Kenny Pickett's in the NFL. So you would like to think Pittsburgh's not going to be that good. But here they are sitting ranked 17th. Their receiver took $26 million to go play for Lincoln Riley at USC. So he disappeared. Small hand man is in the NFL playing for Pittsburgh, staying local. And Pittsburgh finds himself getting 6 points against a Tennessee team that I don't think has been good since T. Martin's been there. And every year I hear about Tennessee. Oh, they got a shot. Oh, Tennessee's back. Every year they're 5-6. They're 5-7. I mean, they're bad every year. They're not just like, oh, they don't win a big bowl game. They don't even win 7 games every year.
Yeah.
So I'm taking Pittsburgh. I'm taking Pittsburgh half out of just being annoyed by the fact that Tennessee's ranked again.
What did you say the spread was on this thing?
Pittsburgh's getting 6 at home. I'm taking the 6. I'm
They're
riding
getting
with the
6
Panthers.
at home. Wow.
I'm riding with the Panthers. Because this is just reputational garbage with Tennessee. And I don't know what reputation. It's a bad reputation. But Tennessee, I think it's SEC versus ACC.
Yeah.
I think it's more Tennessee's. Yeah, they're not good, but they play in the SEC, that whole thing.
Yeah.
But you know what? Tennessee's not good no matter who they play. They go to Pittsburgh. I think Kenny Pickett shows up because he lives in Pittsburgh now. So I feel like he'll be there for the game. Maybe they'll get him out there slinging a few passes.
He'll be waving to everybody with his little hands. Yeah.
He'll be waving. And I'm going the Kenny Pickett Pittsburgh Panthers. Say that 5 times fast. The Kenny Pickett Pittsburgh Panthers +6. So I got Pittsburgh +6, Kentucky +6, and out in Provo, Utah, I got the BYU Brigham Young Cougars. Yeah, Cougars. I got the Cougars. I got the Cougars laying 3.
I'm surprised you didn't call them the Brigham Youngers or Brigham Younger. Yeah, Brigham Youngers.
I got the Cougs. I got the Cougs. I got the Cats. I got the Panthers. Cougs. I got all Cats.
All Cats this week, man.
Cougs, Cats, Panthers. That's meant to be. Oh, that feels 3-0. I didn't feel any synergy to 3-0 until I just realized they're all Cats. Let's go.
Cat week, baby.
Cat week. Cougs,
for Phil
Cats,
Kelley.
Panthers. All of them will maul your face off. I got them all. Let's go. I feel much better about my college picks than my NFL picks this week.
You
to
should.
be perfectly honest.
You should. Good man. Good man. No, that's good. That's good stuff. Before we leave, I just wanted to mention something for our MLB watch, and that is Albert Pujols, 695 home runs. He's definitely going to tie A-Rod, right? We feel good about that, right?
I'll go with that.
Less than a month left in the season. Can he bang out 5 more? Yes or no?
He can. You asked me this last week, and I said he's not going to get there, so I'll stick to it. But he'll catch A-Rod. He'll finish 3 short. I'm sticking with my 3 short number, but he's got a shot. He gave himself a shot.
Yeah. And Judge, now he's up to 55 home runs. This guy just keeps
double
doing
nickel.
it. It's a lock that he's going to break the Yankees Maris record, right? Which
a lot of people feel like is the real record.
Well,
I listen. I'm just saying because of all the steroid stuff.
Yeah, definitely. Oh, I understand that. And Goldschmidt, he's still first in batting average. He's now first in RBIs, and he's 1 off in the home run race.
Yeah, the home run in the National League really, actually outside of Aaron Judge, everybody's in the mid 30s to low 30s. I mean, if you want to make the case they have dead in the ball, it really is the case. All the home runs are down except for Judge, who would be the one guy at 6'7", 280 that a dead ball wouldn't matter to.
Crazy. I mean,
he's just the anomaly.
Yeah, I mean, in the AL, I think the next closest guy is like 32. I mean,
and Schwarber's leading at 36, but normally by now somebody's in the 40s, a few people
it's absurd. It's absurd what he's doing. And then last but not least, what I wanted to mention was, you know who Zac Gallen is?
Yeah. D-backs pitcher?
I think he's on the D-backs. Yeah. He's got a scoreless streak of 41 1/3 innings going on right now.
Is the all-time streak is Oral Hershiser, right?
Oral Hershiser at 59. Yeah. So he's got almost 18 innings to go.
He's doing that in obscurity because only like 7 people know that is happening.
Right. That's what I'm saying, right? 41. I mean, that's serious. I mean, you look at all the pitchers out there, nobody's doing that. So that's pretty serious that Zac Gallen is doing it. So I'm excited to see it. I would love for Zac Gallen to beat that record and go down in history. So we'll see. But anyway, great episode, guys. Enjoy the football weekend. Enjoy season week 1 of the NFL. I'm so excited for tonight. What's tonight's game, Phil?
Tonight's game, we got Rams-Bills.
Rams-Bills, a hell of a game, man. It should be. What a way to start off the season.
Super Bowl champs get to hoist the banner with Buffalo looking to take the banner back going into this year.
Oh,
It's an
so
interesting
excited.
matchup. Yeah.
So excited. I cannot wait to watch the game tonight. So everybody enjoy. Take Phil's picks. Make yourself some money. Like he said, just a mortgage, just a car payment.
Car payment this week, a car payment. Yeah.
This week only a car payment, right? So I'm not going to put 1,000 on each game. Maybe I'll just put 500 on each game.
Well, the car payments are like 800 now. So, don't worry about it.
Unbelievable. But thank you for tuning in, everybody. Keep listening. Tell your friends, tell your neighbors, tell your people you like, tell the people you don't like. If you say, oh, these guys suck, I want to torture you with them, send them our way. That's fine. We will change their minds. Have a great week, everybody. And we'll look forward to talking to you next time on Phil and the Mic.
See ya.
See ya.